यार सजन दिलदार सजन हो यार सजन हो दिलदार सजन यार सजन दिलदार सजन हो यार सजन.
My name is Jacob Edgar. I'm an explorer, but I don't search for lost cities or ancient ruins. I'm on the quest for a different kind of treasure, music. As an ethnomusicologist and world music record producer, I travel the globe hunting for the best songs the world has to offer. And I suffer through some of the worst, so you don't have to. I've got a backstage pass to the world's music, and I won't stop until I've heard it all. This is my third trip to India, and I still experience sensory overload as the sights, sounds, and smells come rushing at me like the speeding auto rickshaws that buzz madly through the city streets. I've arrived in Mumbai at the onslaught of summer, when stewing in your own sweat is the local version of air conditioning. It's a massive, funky city, and its immediate surroundings are home to as many as 18 million people, making it one of the world's most populated metropolitan areas. Ever since Ravi Shankar jammed with the Beatles in the 60s, India's diverse music has been recognized around the globe. But the most prevalent sounds in India today are the film songs that blare from auto rickshaws. This one's pretty pimped out. And jingle from everyone's cell phones. I've come to Mumbai to meet two of my favorite local stars. Both Sona Mohapatra and Kailash Kher mix Indian folk, spiritual, and classical music with Western rock and pop to create a rootsy yet modern sound. I want to find out how they've built a fan base in a land where Bollywood dominates the entertainment industry. While Sona is well known in some circles, she's still struggling to reach a wider audience. Kailash Kher, on the other hand, is practically a household name. Sona asks me to meet her at the Gateway of India, one of Mumbai's most recognized landmarks. In a few minutes, we're going to be meeting up with Sona, the first musician that we're profiling on this adventure to India. Sona is an up-and-coming star whose first album really intrigued me. Her music conjures the spirit of ancient India. Sona's promised to take me to some of her favorite places in Mumbai, and in visiting them together, I hope to learn more about what makes her tick. Not to mention having a great time exploring Mumbai with a beautiful Indian pop star.
Bombay or Mumbai becomes your own, so I'm as much a Mumbaikar as anybody else. It's a place where I came to fulfill my bigger dream.
Which was?
Which was to be on stage. I've always dreamt of being on stage.
Sona has brought me to the Banganga Tank, the center of an ancient temple complex that is one of the hubs of the city's religious and cultural life. Local children swim in the tank's murky waters, which are also used for bathing, laundry, and religious ceremonies.
I love the history of my country. I love traveling, and a lot of that comes into my music. But I'm also a young woman living in Bombay, which is a very urban, it's a modern big city. And Banganga is this perfect combination of the old and the new. find incredible is you have Bombay, which is with its mad, chaotic energy, and in the middle of this, an area as ancient as this, which in some of the little streets we call gullies, some things wouldn't have changed in the last
centuries.
Yeah, it would just be the same, you know. You'll find that little barber sitting and doing his thing, and yeah, it's kind of incredible. सारी रात जगना अभी नहीं आना सजना अभी नहीं आना सजना मोहे थोड़ा मरने दे इंतजार कर.
Sona has been adamant about recording music her way and has avoided becoming just another Bollywood playback singer. Her music videos often feature humble villagers in colorful traditional clothes and rustic settings. Yet, her music has a very accessible and contemporary vibe that I'm sure would appeal to people all over the world.
Now, many people come to Bombay in music and they go into Bollywood. Now, you've intentionally stayed away from Bollywood for much of your career.
I believe that being a playback voice for somebody else is, again, not that exciting
Because
for
most
me.
Bollywood singers are singing and then an actor is mouthing their lines.
I've always wanted to be the one facing my audience. I don't have the conventional Bollywood voice either.
Right, they have this bird-like voice, you know, it's like it's...
I don't have that.
We also wander through the Kolaba Causeway, one of Mumbai's most famous shopping areas.
Is this an actual, real trumpet? Charge!
Oh, check it out. What do you recommend?
I have Slumdog Mill, Benjamin.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Australia. Which movie?
Australia? Why would I come to India and buy Australia?
Okay, I give Indian movie. You want? I say.
Yeah, you have Indian movies?
Wait.
Oh, there it is, Ram Sampath. He did the music for this.
Yeah, that's his name.
Sona's husband, Ram Sampath, did the music for this film right here, Kaki. Ironically, Sona's husband is an important producer of television jingles and Bollywood soundtracks, so it's even more impressive that Sona's resisted Bollywood's pull for so long. We quickly make the rounds of some of her favorite off-the-beaten-path restaurants and snack
You have
shops.
these are called pani puris.
That's what these are called, pani puri.
Yeah, so एक दिखाएं इनको shoot कर रहे हैं. खाएं?
All right, this is the spicy one.
Yeah.
You ready for a little explosion?
Is it spicy? Is it?
No, it's not so bad.
Yeah,
Is this cooked?
It is cooked. You're safe. The water isn't, but it'll be.
Further down the streets of Mumbai, we come across Oval Maidan, a large field where people come together to play cricket. Basically, they throw the ball, you hit the ball, you run like hell. That's the game, right?
Something sort of, yeah.
I think I can wrap my head around that. So maybe I'm not ready to join the Indian national cricket team, but I'm definitely ready for a cup of traditional South Indian coffee. Sona brings me to one of the best South Indian coffee shops in Mumbai. It's served milky, extremely sweet, and with a nice froth that's formed by pouring the scalding hot coffee between two cups. South Indian coffee. And it's sweet. Just the way I like it, it's sweet. I want to try to pour it. I want to try that. And that's how you do it. Okay, follow the master. Ah! I think I have to enroll in coffee pouring school, which I'll do right after I go to the hospital for second-degree burns.
Thank you.
Rhythm House is Mumbai's best record store, and it's a must-visit for any music fan. The shop has an impressive selection of Indian classical music, folk music, Bollywood soundtracks, and much more. They have Rolling Stone. So anybody that we'd know in here?
Well, you have Rahman.
Oh, there's A.R. Rahman.
Yeah.
And hey, I know this person. She looks familiar. I'm hanging out with a celebrity. She's in Rolling Stone. You can't send me to a record store and expect me to walk out empty-handed, right? It's hard to resist buying CDs in India because they are so cheap. Do you take credit cards? Yeah. Beautiful. Sona is clearly a strong woman who feels that she has an important role to play in representing a different image for women in Indian society. Sona's husband, music producer Ram Sampath, is her frequent collaborator and composed most of her songs. He invites me to his recording studio for some insight into the inner workings of Bollywood music.
Bollywood is the glue that binds India. It's the stories, folk stories, the tales and legends.
So Bollywood has played an important role in the unity of the country in many
binding
ways.
the country together. Cultural
That's
identity
incredible.
for sure. The thing that actually inspired the early Indian filmmakers were the Hollywood musicals. And once that format came into India, we just didn't let go because we just fell in love with the idea of music being part of the movie.
When you're hired to do a film, for example, they come to you and they say, we want a hit. How do you go about composing a hit Bollywood song?
When I ask Ram to explain how he goes about creating a Bollywood song, he surprises me by offering to give me a 5-minute lesson. As it turns out, there are some pretty standard formulas that most Bollywood soundtrack composers follow.
Ram, we're in front of your computer screens and you've got your software up and you're going to show us how you begin the process of creating your hit Bollywood song. So what's your first step?
The first step is to find the right Indian beat. So that's perfect. That's got the Indian booty shake. Now let's put in the token cliche beat that we need to put in.
The Euro trash beat?
Yeah.
Okay. I can hear that.
And so let's hear them together. Yeah. I can make a little
so
fun.
funny. You've already got it going.
Yeah.
Cool, okay.
And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give myself some kind of harmonic reference.
All right.
So I'm gonna take a tumbi, which is a Punjabi single string instrument.
It's the thing that always goes ding 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 ding.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Nice.
There you go.
I think I got it.
Yeah, so you just kind of sit and jam with the rag, and you get some idea of what the tune's gonna be like. So then you can pick up a word like, say, Mahia, yeah? And then you just go, oh Mahia, oh Mahia, oh Mahia, oh Mahia, na 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 Mahia, and drop 500,000 synthesizers on top of this, and you've got your contemporary Bollywood hit.
Thank you so much for doing that. That was fun.
Oh Mahia, oh Mahia, oh Mahia, oh Mahia, na 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 Mahia.
सपने 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 होना जरूरी है सपने सपने होना जरूरी है कच्चे पक्के आधे पूरे.
After years of resisting Bollywood's formulaic approach, Sona's finally decided to record a very commercial pop song for an upcoming movie soundtrack. She hopes that the mass audience that can come from Bollywood will help shine a light on her other artistic endeavors. In fact, the next artist I meet in Mumbai, Kailash Kher, has managed to do just that.
तेरी सूरत माशाअल्लाह वे तेरी सूरत तैनू जेड़े वेले रब ने बनाया मेरे यारा दिल दारा दिसे रब दा नजारा तौबा तौबा तौबा
Kailash Kher is one of the biggest pop stars in India today. He may look tiny, but he's got an enormous voice and personality. Originally from Delhi, Kailash has sung on some of the biggest Bollywood hits of the past 10 years. But unlike most playback singers, Kailash has released successful solo albums as well, and created numerous radio hits with his band Kailasa. His fame has only grown since he was invited to be a judge on the TV show Indian Idol. People all across the country tune in every week to see Kailash playing the part of an Indian Simon Cowell, except Kailash is actually a nice guy.
I first discovered the music of Kailash Kher when I was in India the last time. Driving along in an auto rickshaw, just minding our own business, and all of a sudden I heard this music blaring out of one of the roadside shops. The whole rest of my India journey was the quest for this golden holy grail. Eventually I found it because I bought tons of CDs, and when I got them all back home, it turned out that one of them was Kailash's CD, and I heard the song and I knew that this guy was really something special.
I've asked Kailash to show me some of the areas of Mumbai that give some insight into his music. He's taking me 2 hours out of town to Lonavala in the Sahyadri Mountains, the second highest mountain range in India after the Himalayas. I don't really know what's in store for me, but we're gonna find out.
I'm going to introduce him to the local food here actually right now.
Truck stop food, Indian truck stop food.
Okay, he's still alive, so now I'll try it. That's good.
There, amidst the rolling hills and surrounded by the vastness of nature, Kailash likes nothing better than to visit his rustic farm and enjoy the simple life.
Okay, so now this is Maharashtra's Sahyadri Hills, where I have brought you guys today. This is the caves called Bhaje Caves. This is just 2 hours away from Mumbai, where I live. And you see the life is so different between this kind of world and the city where we live. Why I brought you guys here, my music talks about love and the pure form of love.
Kailash's lyrics are usually based on the tenets of Sufism, a form of Islam. When Kailash sings about love, he's not just talking about romantic love between a man and a woman, but a more deep spiritual love for God and everything he's created. Carved into the mountains are ancient Buddhist caves that were built by monks thousands of years ago. They are profoundly spiritual settings that help Kailash reconnect with the universalistic beliefs that are at the heart of his music.
My great-grandfather seed this,
Yeah.
and today the tree is quite big like me.
Yeah, right.
Check it out, man.
Don't believe the hype.
Whatever story I have come up with, he always puts that down.
That's why I'm here.
Oh.
Keep it real.
Kailash has a deep respect for all religions, which is why it makes perfect sense for him to bring me to a place that is sacred for Buddhists, as well as followers of the Hindu faith.
These hills, as it is known as Shivas.
So these are Shiva's hills.
Yeah. So my music connects with both of those. Buddha's philosophy of love and Shiva's philosophy of humanity.
And one of your songs is about Shiva.
Yeah, and the kind of song I have come up specifically about Shiva is in my Kailasa Jhumore album.
Okay.
And the words of that song is हाथ जोड़ के बोली गवर जा हाथ जोड़ के बोली गवर जा तीनों लोक बसाए बस्ती में तीनों लोक बसाए बस्ती.
Kailash draws a crowd wherever we go, which I guess is understandable given his endearing habit of belting out songs at full volume.
अगर बम 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 बम
Back in Mumbai, Kailash heads to the recording studio run by his musical collaborators, Naresh and Paresh Kameth. Naresh and Paresh are brothers and musical directors of Kailash's band Kailasa. Part of the Indian rock and pop scene, they provide the fresh beats and modern energy that act as a foundation for Kailash's voice.
Hey. Naresh and
Naresh and Paresh, all right. So you guys are the co-founders of Kailasa, the band that started this all. And wow, what an honor to meet you in person. At the studio, I'm treated to an acoustic performance of one of Kailash Kher and Kailasa's biggest hits, the epic love song, Teri Deewani.
Teri Deewani, Deewani, Teri Deewani, Deewani. तूने क्या कर डाला, मर गई मैं, मिट गई मैं, ओ जी, हाँ जी, हो गई मैं.
Kailash likes to step outside of the cacophony and chaos of Mumbai to visit the villages and rural settings that hold such a deep spiritual meaning for him. This love of God and nature comes through powerfully in his songs. And now I see that there are more ways than Bollywood movies to escape the exhausting busyness of an Indian city.
इश्क जुनू जब हद से बढ़ जाए, इश्क जुनू जब हद से बढ़ जाए.
While his music is thoroughly modern and influenced by rock, funk, reggae, disco, and even techno, his voice recalls the ancient history of India. And he's just as likely to include a traditional village rhythm or a sacred Sufi chant in the mix as he is a jamming electric guitar or hip-hop beat. I've had a fantastic musical journey in Mumbai. Sona gave me a great tour of the city and helped me understand the challenges she faces trying to create meaningful music outside of the Bollywood mainstream. Kailash Kher is an amazing personality and awesome talent who has used the film industry and his celebrity status to help him achieve success with his other recording projects. One of the songs Kailash plays for me that night is originally from Rajasthan, a desert state in northwestern India, where Europe's gypsies trace their roots. It's time to leave the modern world behind and search for a place where the echoes of thousands of years of tradition still resound loud and clear.
चलूं मैं तो तीखड़ तीखड़ का ओ जो बन चले के जो बन चले के ओ जो बन चले के जो बन चले के.
I'm following the musical trail through Rajasthan, a land of Maharajas and magnificent mountaintop forts, to hear firsthand the region's colorful and celebrated sounds.
भारी भारी अचरज पास पड़ोस करें इतराने में
भारी भारी अचरज पास पड़ोस करें तिराने में। अरे कोर्ट कचहरी बंद पड़ गए भग्गी पड़ गई थाने में। कोर्ट कचहरी बंद पड़ गए भग्गी पड़ गई थाने